Patrick, you want to tell us a little bit about your article?
Absolutely. No, I love stuff about AI. And last month I stumbled on this article in the New York Times by Kevin Roos, and you can see it here. It's called "We Need to Talk About How Good AI is Getting." And I'd like to say that I'm a really sophisticated consumer of fine literature, and that's what caught my attention. But the truth is, it was the pictures.
Oh,
Okay,
I
it was
love
the
it.
picture. Yeah, the pictures. And not just this one. There were a whole bunch of really cool pictures in this thing. And one of them was like a 1920s black and white mobster. It was kind of looked like Al Capone, I think. I don't really
Taking a
know my
selfie.
mobster
Yeah.
history. Yeah, and that was it. And I look at it more closely, and I realized, wait a minute, this mobster's holding up an iPhone, taking a selfie. What's going on here? And so I dive into this article, and it's talking about this newest capability with this software called DALL-E, and it's a play off of the Wall-E and Salvador Dali, the artist. And what it is you say, or you type in some words to describe something, and it produces a handful of images that are trying to match what you do. Now the thing is, it's not going to the Google, it's not a Google search where it goes through and tries to pull images off the net that may match what you're talking about. This is creating them from scratch, and it was such an incredible concept. And so over this weekend, I was diving through into the program, typing up all sorts of stuff. In the article, they had that photograph of the mobster. They had another one, a sailboat knitted out of blue yarn, which sounds strange, but when
That
you
one
see
looked
pictures of it,
ridiculously accurate too. Yeah.
unbelievably realistic photos, and just playing around with it, crazy stuff about Frank Sinatra and Sophia Loren playing backgammon or anything you want to throw in there. The pictures that were coming out were just astounding, and it's just an amazing concept, and it's crazy to see how far this capability is going. Now, Don, I know you've talked to folks about the art community is really up in arms about, is this really art? Is it not? And the concern about displacing artists and other workers that are out there. That's a concern we see across the tech space as this stuff is getting so good. Now, this article, I thought, I don't know, has anyone else played with this?
I have. Yeah. And Dream Fusion and Stable Diffusion and yeah, been playing around
Yeah.
with a lot of these actually. So actually,
Oh
we've
my
done
God.
some art. Um, some of our thumbnails for our channel are done with Dream, which is an
Okay.
app you can download by Wamba Dream. Yeah.
I will tell you, I had so much fun with this. There was a similar music program that someone kind of raised, and it's called MuseNet. And you just type in different artists, and it will combine music into a new type of style. A couple that we did were Adele and Mozart combined, and it produces like a new musical score for you that kind of combines those styles. We also did Billie Eilish and the Beatles. Talk about some
Oh,
really
That
bizarre.
seems like a conflict.
Yeah, I mean, this stuff is amazing, and for me, that was the point of the article, where it's just this stuff is amazing. The capabilities are getting so quickly getting beyond what we anticipated, but yet there are also some risks.
Yeah, well, I mean, I also think if we bring it back to drones, I mean, this is another path forward showing us how we can move AI more quickly for end-to-end solutions for our customers. Versus the old way of having a algorithm from NVIDIA or stock Microsoft Azure or Google, and then having an expert having to basically tag and build from its infancy, from toddler to maturity. And now you have these type of programs that are basically taking multiple algorithms, multiple pieces of information, and they're creating those outcomes. So if we looked at railroad inspection, something that we're very heavily involved with, being able to quickly learn railroad inspection standards to be able to make railroads safer, more effective, and not harm on-time performance. I mean, these things have applicability, well past just art.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
say that.
What were you gonna
Oh
say,
no, go
Glenn?
ahead, Mike.
No,
I was,
I, no. Actually, you go first.
Okay, in the cybersecurity space, we're seeing this too, which is it's kind of an ironic twist because in cybersecurity you need both offense and defense, and the offense is the bad actors out there. They're the cyber threats. They're all using AI technology to help them thrust forward their nefarious capabilities, but it's the cybersecurity defense teams that really need the same AI capability to stay on par with or stay a little bit ahead of the adversaries out there. So it's just kind of ironic that this AI technology, these capabilities are being used on both sides of the aisle for folks to kind of keep things abreast of each other.
Well, actually, let me jump on that a little bit because this is one of my larger kind of concerns. If you look at the history of kind of like security vulnerabilities in computing, hacking the human is actually usually easier, and a lot of the the world's best hacks are a phone call, and then they get the information they need to get in. So, for example, I sent a laptop out to one of our other producers, and via UPS, he got a text message this morning from USP saying your address information is incorrect. Please click on this link. So think about the orders that had to go through for that to happen. Somebody either algorithmically or maybe through basic deduction figured out the UPS tracking code system and just incrementally goes through this and then matches that data to a database. But you could easily see one of these AI voice kind of algorithms getting on the phone with him, pretending like it's a service to change the address or get critical information out of him, and now Bob's your uncle. You're done. Basically,
Yeah.
they've threaded a line through that vulnerability. They've hacked the human, and you think about for elderly people, they won't even see that coming. you know.
No, I mean, my parents get these crazy phone calls all the time. I mean, they really target, right, the senior citizen population. But I want to bring this back to art for a second, because that's where we started. It looks like we're getting some comments in the chat too. But, what I love about all of these different AI capabilities, whether it's for art, like you just showed us, Pat, in this article, or the music application you just mentioned, is this idea of accessibility. It may allow people that to tap into a creative side they didn't even have, or maybe they physically are unable to do things, but with their voice now they can create things, right? By telling the computer, like, yeah. So I do love that about it. And we had a huge debate a couple shows ago. We talked about how AI, this gentleman in Colorado had used AI to create this really cool painting, won an art contest, and people were, it was, the category, Mike, remind me, it was like digital art or digital
Manipulation. So my personal feelings was that he was totally within the bounds of the contest.
But some of the judges didn't appreciate that the AI completely made it, right? And then Pat, both of you, Pat and Tim, will appreciate this too. We also talked about the U.S. Patent Office had made a ruling recently that if you list AI as the sole inventor, well, you can't.
Yeah.
They won't recognize it. AI cannot be the sole inventor. So all of this stuff is going to come to a head at some point in the exact right case, where you're going to have a piece of art or music, or somebody's going to try to copyright something or patent something, and decisions are just going to have to be made. But I think you're right. I think we're in a really interesting inflection point here when it comes to AI.
Well, I think that. Sorry. I think the basis there is the piece actually transformative from what the AI did? So, like, you might just put your signature in. Does that count as transformative, or not? So, what were you going to say?
On one hand, it's such amazing capabilities, and of course, what are the risks here? The article is really trying to say, amazing capabilities, amazing potential, but also some risks. And for me, I'm concerned about the risk of these capabilities. You talked about the accessibility. You talked about deep fakes, and for me, it's the deep fakes risk here. Deep fakes of someone using deep fake voice impersonation technology, deep fake video technology to call someone about a UPS order. For me, my prediction is we're going to see more and more deep fakes in two different contexts. One is courtrooms, and as an attorney, I'm very concerned about that. If you can create evidence, manufacture evidence it totally discredits all the evidence out there. And you need to have some really accurate authentication procedures to ensure you know what you're looking at, what you're hearing, what you're seeing. On the other side, the other thing that concerns me is sort of the national security implications. As a retired military officer, I think of this as the risk of global instability, the propaganda, the false information that could be out there, the false narratives, and how that can just cause people to lose confidence in their governments, lose confidence in world order, and just create instability. I think those would be terrible outcomes, but they are serious risks here with this type of technology.